Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports. Coming up next on CTV, it's the Sports Guys with our good friends Steve, Chuck, and Rod. Don't miss it.
And welcome back to another edition of the Sports Guys. I'm Christian Gibbons, along with Steve Bainey, Chuck Hiller, Rod Calgarin. We are back after our Memorial Day break for a lot of exciting Tigers news. The Tigers still kicking butt and taking names. This is for the week of June 2nd, 2025. And guys, the IndyCar Grand Prix on the streets of Detroit down underneath the RenCen took place yesterday. It was a really, really good race, a lot of good races. I watched a little bit of the Indy Next or whatever the minor league race was yesterday morning. That was pretty good too. And that's where we're gonna start out with our trivia question. So Kyle Kirkwood, we'll get into this a little bit later, won yesterday's Detroit IndyCar Grand Prix. Who is the first winner of the Detroit Formula One Grand Prix race all the way back in 1982?
Wow.
Come on, Chuck.
I was just a little kid then.
Well,
Some of us on this panel weren't even born yet. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. But we're going to start with the Tigers. The Tigers are on a tear.
No doubt.
They swept the San Francisco Giants to start the week last week. Then went 2 for 3 against Kansas City over the weekend. They lost a heartbreaker. Like Chuck said before we went on the air, Bo Brisky kind of gave that one away. But I'll take winning the series. I will take winning the series.
Yeah.
A loss here or there isn't the end of the world, especially when we're 30 games, 35 wins.
Yeah.
So far this season.
Looking pretty good so far.
So the Tigers' upcoming schedule, as you can see on your screen, they'll take on the White Sox to start this week. 7:40 starts at 6:40 Central Time, so that's why it's a little bit later. And then Thursday, the getaway day, 2:10. All 4 of those games will be on FanDuel Sportsnet. The game on Friday against the Cubs here at Comerica Park will be on Apple TV+. So you have to have a separate streaming service, which don't even get me started on that. You have to have a separate streaming service to watch the Tigers on Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday both will be back on FanDuel for those of you who have that service. So guys, the Tigers, what do we have to say about this team that hasn't already been said? Javi Baez was at third over the weekend, played a hell of a third base. And
there you go.
We thought maybe his calling was center field, but he's still playing good at third base, and we're starting to see Casey Mize on his way back.
Yeah.
We're starting to get some pitching back. It was a little scary to hear about Jackson Jobe last week. Young kid with that kind of tear is a little wonky, but they say he's got about a month and a half till he returns, if all goes well. So
If all goes well.
That's
you
the
never
important
know
part.
on a tear.
Yeah.
But,
I'd say Skubal's still looking good.
Skubal's
He's
still looking
7 shutout innings.
Well, we haven't talked about. He went 9 innings. He had a complete game shutout.
Yeah, which never happens anymore.
Yeah, that was incredible.
He only had 90 pitches when he went 7 innings.
I believe the prognosticators called it the Greg Maddux game.
Yes.
I saw an interview with A.J. Hinch after that, and they asked him, did you ever think about pulling him? He's like, it crossed my mind, but sometimes you just have to put your big boy pants on, send him back out there, and let him finish his game. He had a low pitch count.
Yeah.
He wasn't stressed at all. So let the boy go, and, because...
Yeah, pitch count is always the key nowadays.
Yeah, because, these pitchers, I hate to sound like the old man on the panel, but these pitchers nowadays, they pitch 5 innings, then they go rest.
Right.
And, back when I was a kid, pitchers went 9 innings or 7 innings. Or I mean, growing up watching Justin Verlander go
Oh, yeah.
9
yeah.
innings at least 5 or 6 times a
Oh,
season.
at least,
You know, so
How many did Lolich, or,
Oh, yeah.
well.
Yeah.
right. I mean, yeah, back in the 70s, that was
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
commonplace.
mean, it was common. Yeah.
So, you know, but it was great to see from Skubal because he's such a likable guy, and he's
Yeah.
just pitching out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to have him.
If he got a little run support, he'd be looking
Yeah.
really good.
I mean, that's one thing with this whole winning thing that people aren't talking about quite yet. The offense, to me, has dropped off a little bit,
Right, no doubt.
just a little bit, and you saw that in the loss to Kansas City.
right.
Sure, Bo Brisky gave that run away, but we should have scored 3 or 4 runs,
yeah.
and,
But
we,
we had
and
3
we would
on
have saved him, you
yeah.
know? So, you know, it just seems to me over the last, I don't know, 3 weeks, seems like the offense has dropped a little bit, and nobody's talking about it because Skubal's pitching so well, because we're still winning games. But we're going to run into some run-scoring teams here in the next month.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the Cubs can score some runs. As we move into middle of summer, these games are going to get harder and harder and harder. The
No
more
doubt.
we get on tape, the more people see us. You know, pitching is going to end up being a little different to us. So that's my only qualm with the Tigers, if I had to pick one.
yeah,
But we-
like I say,
we've
that,
got
yeah, they
something
definitely got
else.
everything going.
This is sometimes the second or third time a pitcher has seen our batters. They're not doing anything coming in 23 degrees down for Green anymore.
Right.
That was used to be the thing that Green would miss him.
Oh.
This year, that 23-degree day sends it out of the ballpark.
Oh.
That's one of the things. He's been able to go from 19 all the way to 23, 25 degrees to send it out of the ballpark. Not everybody can do that.
I would think
But
not.
Mr. Green has learned how to do that.
Well, nice.
So we'll move on to hockey. I don't know how many of you are following the Stanley Cup playoffs, but the final starts on Wednesday. It's the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Tell me if you've heard that before.
Sounds like last year's.
Sounds like
matchup.
last year's rematch.
Florida won last year.
Florida won last year, and what's interesting is Florida won last year, but they were in the final the year before and lost. Edmonton was in the final last year and lost. So is this their year? So
Could be.
the Edmonton Oilers will be on TNT over the next couple of weeks against the Florida Panthers and the Chuck brother. So we'll look forward to that. We'll have some highlights of that in the next coming editions. And Steve, I know you've been following the NBA playoffs. The Pacers clinched it the other night. That was a good game.
That was an excellent game.
The Knicks, as per usual, came back again and again and again. They just couldn't
Yeah.
pull it off. Brunson played out of his mind. It just
Oh, he
wasn't
did.
enough.
He did.
So the NBA Finals will be the Indiana Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and those games will be on ABC starting
Thursday.
on Thursday, June 5th. You can see the schedule there on your screen, and
Isn't that a long time between?
it really is.
I
But
thought so.
it
The
all
Stanley Cup was the same thing.
it all has to do with how they're, because they're afraid the series is going to go 7 games.
Right.
They don't want to move because of TV. Because ESPN and ABC have a contract with the Stanley Cup, I'm guessing there's some kind of agreement between the two leagues, so they
Oh.
don't schedule on the same nights.
Okay.
So,
It seems as though you lose your edge.
Oh, for
Anytime
sure.
you're talking 6, 7 days and up to 10 days,
Right.
you lose your edge.
Yeah.
but again, it's not about the players. They could give 2 craps about the players. It's all about television revenue. So if
That is true.
if
How about the
the mighty dollar,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
if
you
Cha-ching.
and if
yeah.
ABC knows they can make money on Bachelor in Paradise Golden or
Yeah,
whatever
little
airing
thing.
on a Wednesday, they're not going to interrupt that for some stupid little basketball game.
Yeah, okay.
So
Now I understand.
Yeah.
Now I get it.
so that's why I don't know what show airs on Wednesday on ABC, to be honest with you, but
It sounded pretty good, though.
There you go.
nobody my age watches network television anymore anyway. So the games start on Thursday night, and what else you got for us, Steve?
Friday, they set the record for the MVP matchup. They had Aaron Judge and Ohtani, and both of them hit a home run in the first inning, which never happened before. Barry Bonds and Tejada scored in the same game,
Yeah.
but they never had both MVPs, National and American League, score in the same inning. First inning they scored. But so like I say, yesterday, I mean, it was just a madhouse of home runs. They had 6 different players that had 2 home runs each.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. Then they had the Dodgers taking out the Yankees 18-2.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
And Aaron Judge hit 2 home runs. Otherwise, the Yankees would have been smoked. And then they had the Milwaukee Brewers against the Phillies win 17-7. The Rays out in Tampa beat the Astros 16-3. And the Nationals beat the Diamondbacks 11-7. So
Those
like
are
I say, if you're a baseball fan,
If you like offense,
oh
we
yeah,
have some video for you.
no doubt. But
Those are like football scores.
no doubt. It's like, putting up all those, and like say, and everybody's doing it. I
Yeah.
don't know why the hitting has gotten so much better.
I mean, are
recently.
they using those torpedo bats? Remember earlier in the season, the Yankees had those torpedo
No
bats?
talk about them anymore.
got-
Yeah, that's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, they got a catcher for the Mariners who's leading the league in home runs.
A catcher?
A catcher for the Mariners, 23, and then Ohtani's got 22, and and Judge has got 21. So it's like, what is going on out there? But like I say, it's definitely pretty crazy. And then you have the ladies playing softball World Series, and you have the NCAA men playing baseball for the World Series. So like I say, a lot of baseball going on if you're a baseball fan. So that's a pretty excellent thing for sure. And the Michigan Panthers
Hey, what about
actually
that?
won. They actually lost last week, but this week they lost to the Roughnecks, and this week they're going to play for the conference championship.
There you go.
There you go. So the regular season schedule is done, and here comes the playoffs.
Okay, they playing here or are they away?
They'll be playing here.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
So,
good.
Yeah, so they should be in pretty good shape. And yeah, like I say, pretty much everything also in the WNBA, the New York Liberty and the Minnesota Lynx are both 7-0. So they got a lot of good sports going
Yeah.
on. Pretty much any sport you choose nowadays, it's got some good games going on for sure.
Did any of you happen to see, we were talking about the softball World Series, the pitcher, I forget which team it was. She had a clump of dirt on her cleat.
Oh,
When
Tennessee.
when she went to kick back to release the ball, the chunk of dirt flew up right into the path of the ball, exploded. Remember what's his name hit the bird?
Yeah.
It was almost like that. It exploded this dirt pack right into the catcher's eyes. She was down for like 30 seconds. I felt so bad for her. She had that dust and dirt in her eyes because it just, the ball's going, 60, 70 miles an hour and just explodes this. And you know how that clay can become like glass,
Very sharp.
So, yeah, it was not fun to watch.
Yeah, so they got a lot of stuff going on, and like I say, the Tigers obviously are doing pretty good with 1-0 win yesterday. So keep going, Tigers.
And Chuck, we move on to motorsports, and we talk about Formula One over the weekend.
Formula One being in Spain, I liked the way they did their national anthem before the thing. They had probably 25 guitarists playing the national anthem. And believe me, I couldn't tell when they were playing it and strumming it what the melody was. I thought it was quite something. But they go on. And Formula One is, I think they get paid by how many words they say. That is continually for this 45, 50 minutes. They're just going on and on. They don't even breathe. But the newest thing is that they're using more ladies over in Formula One. And one of the big things about it is, let's see how short we can get our skirts. It is so surprising. They're trying to get a different type of person to watch, evidently. And Sky Sports has said, shorten up the skirts, kids.
Oh, there you go.
No more pants, in dungarees or anything.
Oh.
Let's get a little classy there. But the big one was at Indianapolis, the kickback when Danica wore that. It was black and white striped thing, and oh man, there's an awful lot of talk about it. It looked quite risque for as an announcer for Indy, but it kept the people watching.
No doubt, no doubt.
So that's it. The big thing I talk about is that in the Indy cars, they're going to have to learn how to do their suspension a little different when they come to Detroit. They had 119 manholes that they had to go over. And even if you get just a little bit on those cars, which are so heavily sprung, you get hit. And they were running into troubles. They were snapping off their suspension. It was quite nice, And to watch them driving, they're driving like this because it just shakes it so much.
Oh, wow.
And the one thing I thought was, will they ever come back to Detroit? But thanks to Christian, he tells me that the city council has just done a 2-year contract.
3-year contract.
3-year contract.
With an option to extend for another 3 years.
Isn't that something?
So-
Right in the heart of Detroit, messing up about 6 days of good business opportunities.
But all of them, they've raised a significant amount of money down there now for the week leading up, all the hotel rooms.
Yeah.
For all of the staff from in all the IndyCar teams. And that was one of the things. They're building a new hotel that's going to be attached to what was Cobo Center.
Yeah.
So the Detroit Sports Commission, the Downtown Detroit Partnership, and all of those organizations are really pushing to get more things downtown. And when I say downtown, I don't just mean in the arena
seal
district.
those thing in the road?
The manhole covers? Yeah,
Manhole.
they seal them enough, but like Chuck said, it's still a bump.
Isn't it?
Yeah, and
You
if
know,
that kind of
that
speed,
much.
Yeah,
When
but-
you're heavily sprung, will
They're-
really send you for a
yeah, and that
tizzy.
kind of speed is going to give you a
Right.
jolt.
They're not gonna pop up on
Oh
you.
no, no,
Okay.
no,
Well,
they-
that's what I wondered.
Yeah.
if
What, no,
any
no, they're
chance
welded.
of-
Most
Well,
of them
and
are.
I forgot who it was, but post race, one of the guys said basically called this circuit trash.
Yeah.
And wondered why we ever moved from Belle Isle. Why,
Yeah, Belle
why are
Isle
we
was
still
weak.
racing on Belle Isle? And I can tell him the reason that we moved from Belle Isle is, do you know how hard it is to get to Belle Isle as a fan
Yeah.
Oh,
when roads are blocked off?
Right.
And it just makes logistically for the fan more sense downtown.
no
Oh,
doubt.
yeah,
And they're the ones
just
paying the
that
money. There's one bridge.
one bridge, and
Right.
if
Yeah.
you
The
don't-
only thing that bothered me is that the winner couldn't jump into the scout fountain.
Well, they weren't supposed to when they were on
I
Belle
know
Isle
it.
anyway.
I know it. But darn it, now they could only jump into the lake.
Well, I was going to
Yeah,
say,
no.
it was shut off this year anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So anyway, yep, Kyle Kirkwood wins at at Detroit in IndyCar. Santino Ferrucci, Colton Herta, Will Power, Kiffin Simpson top out your top 5. And we move to NASCAR, Chuck, and
And little Nashville, Nashville.
Nashville.
And Ryan Blaney finally came in there. He'd been in there second, third before, but Ronnie Blaney finally did the thing.
And
There you go.
And in the most Nashville Southern thing ever, it was the Cracker Barrel 400. Was the race, and Ryan Blaney, Carson Hocevar, Denny Hamlin, my boy Denny Hamlin came in third, who his wife is expected to go into labor any minute now.
Ooh.
Apparently yesterday was her due date.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
had a standby driver ready to go just in case.
And our buddy Joey Logano.
Yeah,
There you go.
the official NASCAR driver of Sports Guys is Joey Logano, and then William Byron rounds out your top 5. And
Why
then We move on to this coming weekend.
Oh,
they are
boy.
here. They are in the beautiful Irish Hills of Michigan.
Oh,
They moved up race weekend at Michigan from August. It used to be in mid-August. They've moved it up to early June now. So you can watch the ARCA series on June 6th. I don't know if you guys have Fox Sports 2 on Centrix or not, but you can watch that on FS2 at 5 o'clock on June 6th. The truck race will be on Fox 2 here in Detroit. That's Channel 9, am I right?
Yep.
Fox.
Yep, Channel 9 on June 7th at noon, and then the Cup race is on Prime Video. So for those of you who have that service, notice we put a dollar sign next to that because
Yeah.
you have to pay extra to
Gotta
watch
pay.
the
Gotta
NASCAR
pay.
race. Go figure. So we'll have a full wrap-up of all of the action from the Irish Hills coming up next week. And we move on now to the second major in the tennis calendar, Rod.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah.
Roland Garros is well underway. We're getting into the second week of action. Frances Tiafoe and Tommy Paul put two U.S. men in the quarterfinals for the first time since 1996 over the last weekend. Some other headlines: Iga Swiatek beat Rabenka, and that extends her bid for a fourth title in a row. And Coco Gauff had a second set to return to her second week here in Paris. And of course, coverage will continue on TNT all week. But Rod, I know you've got more on the tennis this week.
Well, the biggies, Novak Djokovic and the Spaniard
Nadal.
Rafael.
are still beating the other guys, even though they're having a little more trouble doing it. Djokovic used to run through them like,
Oh, yeah, like Swiss cheese.
yeah, but he had a little trouble with a couple of the
Now, has he
fellas.
come down in quality, or have the other people just gone up so much
Well,
stronger?
I think he's just gotten older.
Yeah.
He's up in his 40s.
Oh.
Rafa Nadal retired, and of course Rafa was the king of Roland Garros,
Right.
the tournament.
Yeah,
Defended his title at the Memorial. That was in Dublin, Ohio. He was 10 under.
It was only the second time the defending champion has come through at Memorial.
consecutive. Yeah.
And Tiger was obvious. If you were going to pick one, wouldn't it be
Yeah.
Tiger? He was the other one that did that. This was the 16th win for Scotty Scheffler.
Wow.
He's won a couple this year. Of course, he won the PGA, and he won fairly comfortably. He had a 4-shot margin. He was 10 under par. It's a tough course. It's been when you get away from the routine, it's one of the biggies, and I think that's because of Jack Nicklaus.
Oh, okay.
And because this tournament started in 1976, so it's been up there almost 60 years. And of course, every year they memorialize one person.
Yeah.
And this year, for the first time, the Memorial Tournament was dedicated to Barbara Nicholas.
Who?
Barbara Nicholas,
Barbara Nicholas.
Jack Nicklaus's wife.
Jack's wife.
Oh.
And the discussions on why is because they're memorializing some person, not man, not woman, person that has done a lot for golf. And of course, they've gone through every known male golfer.
Yeah, it's really cool that Barbara Nicholas was chosen for that. I mean, the Nicholas, both of them have done such a good thing for golf.
Oh, yes. Yes. I mean, down in Florida and, of course, up in Dublin and their hometown in Ohio. And, I think it's good to get away from the men-only syndrome, so
Yeah.
that worked fine.
So where do we head to next in the PGA Tour?
The U.S. Open is at Oakmont, which is a very famous course near Pittsburgh.
Oh.
In fact, if you're going down the Pennsylvania Turnpike and you look left or right, when you're near there, you see the course.
Gentlemen, anything else of note you guys can think of before we get into answer our trivia question?
I think that
Well,
covers it for
the
me.
U.S. Open for women was played in Wisconsin at Erin Hills, where the men's U.S. Open has been played, and the Swede Maja Stark won that, and she won it pretty handily and beat Nelly Korda, and Nelly is the #1 ranked woman.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a look at our trivia question one more time. So as we said, Kyle Kirkwood won yesterday's Detroit IndyCar Grand Prix. Does anybody have any idea who the first winner of the Formula One Grand Prix in Detroit was in 1982?
I don't remember.
Not a clue.
Like I had all 6 of my
John
sons
Watson.
when that race was run.
Never even
All
heard
I
of
know
John
is
Watson.
that
John
I
Watson.
got burnt badly.
Oh, you went down there?
No. It was horrible. That sun coming through that sucker, bouncing off of the cement and everything.
Well, I was reading when I was looking this up that they had barely any time to do any qualifying or any practice because apparently it rained so bad
Yeah.
that Thursday and Friday
Yeah.
leading up to the race.
Oh.
But
And then just like anything else, it all
and
opened
opened up on Sunday,
Sunday.
and they were able to race. So John Watson, by the way, from Great Britain, was the winner. So this summer we're going to do 3 special episodes. We're going to try and get 3 special guests, and we want you to join us for these. So on June 27th at 11:30 a.m., we'll start recording around 11:45 to noon. We want you to join us. We're going to do a live studio audience in the Edison Room for our Sports Guys show, just like we're doing here, but we're going to do it in the Edison Room. And then I'm trying to get some special guests to join us. So keep tuned to CTV and especially the Sports Guys for more information on that. Our first one, again, will be June 27th. That's a Friday. In the Edison Room between 11:30 and noon, we'll start the recording. So we hope you'll join us for that. And we hope you'll join us next week on the Sports Guys for all these guys. For Michaeline Larson and Kermit Mead, I'm Christian Gibbons, and we'll see you next week.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pete Krupski, the voice of USA Hockey's National Team Development Program. You're watching CTV Sports.